Hello and welcome back to English with Hamdad. In today's video, I'm going to teach you the rest of simple past tense, that is the type of verbs in simple past that we use, and regular and irregular verbs that we have in simple past tense. So, in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to form simple past forms of the verbs and the regular and irregular verbs that they are completely different from each other. So, look at the verbs that we have, verbs in the past. So in simple past tense, we can use regular and irregular verbs to form the sentence and to make the negative and positive form of the sentences in simple past tense. So in regular verbs, what are regular verbs? As you know that the word regular, it means that they have some regulations or regular forms that they would be kind of formed by adding d, ed, or ied at the end of the verbs. So whenever you add these kind of suffixes at the end of the verbs, they can change their form to simple past. So as you see the example, base form of the verb plus d or ed or ied can form a past form of or past participle form of the verbs in regular forms. So as you see that the examples, we have the base form of the verb, the second form of the verb, and the third form of the verb. We can say that present, past, and past participle. So the word work, it is kind of a base form of the verb. It is a base form of the verb that we can change it to a simple past tense by adding ed, and also to the past participle, also adding ed at the end. So we can say that work and worked. So the second rule that we have, whenever you have a consonant e at the end, so this consonant or silent e, this silent e cannot be changed, okay? We can add just d at the end of the verb to form the past participle form and the past forms. So we have live, lived, and lived. So the third one that we have, whenever you have a one syllable verb that it ends with a vowel and a consonant, so you can double the last consonant and form the verb like this. We can have stop, it becomes stop. We have double P and then we have ed at the end. And then again, stopped, we have double P and then ed at the end. So the fourth one we have prefer. Whenever there are two-syllable verbs that they stresses on the second syllable of the verb, so we can kind of double the last r, the last consonant here that we have, and then we can add ed. For example, prefer becomes preferred, and then we can have preferred in the past participle form as well. So number 5, the fifth rule, whenever a verb ends with y and there is a consonant before y, so you can change y to i and add ed. For example, study becomes studied and then studied. So these are all about regular verbs, and you can also change the negative or to kind of a sentence to negative form and question by adding did or didn't. So whenever you use these two auxiliary verbs, okay, these two forms of auxiliary verbs, then you have to use the base form of the verb. As an example, we can say, for example, I studied very well last session. I studied my lessons very well today. Okay, you can have this example as a positive form, and then you can change it to negative by adding did not or didn't. We can say that I didn't study my lessons very well today. I didn't study my lessons very well today. So, and then you can change it to question by adding did at the beginning of the sentence, and then say that did I or did you study your lessons very well today? Did you study your lessons very well today? So, the irregular forms that we have. Irregular forms, they don't have any specific rules. They change their forms. So, beside that, okay, we have 3 types of irregular verbs that we have. They have, some of them, they have the same forms that we have, for example, cut, and cut. Put, and put. So, the second form that we have, or the second part that we have, they have different forms. That these different forms can be like, for example, be, this past form is was and were, and the past participle form is been. And then the other example, go becomes went, and then becomes gone. This is the base form, this is the second, and then the last one is the third form that we have. And then the third part that we have 2 same and 1 different forms. As an example, buy, bought. Or you can have, for example, think, thought. And many other examples that we have, like teach, taught. So these are all the formation of irregular forms and also regular forms that we have. So the same thing is true for irregular, that we can use did or didn't to change the form of a sentence from positive or statement to negative and questions. For example, if you have an example with the verb go, so you can say that I go to school every day. This is a simple present tense. And if you say, for example, I went to school yesterday. I went to school yesterday. Or for example, I went to bazaar yesterday. So you can change this form of sentence. That is a positive sentence. So you can change it to negative by saying, for example, I didn't go to. Did, when we have did, then the verb should change to the base form, should come to the base form, or should change its form to the base form of the verb. We can say that I didn't go to bazaar yesterday. Or I didn't, for example, buy anything yesterday. So these are all the examples. And then you can change the question, or you can form the question form of the simple past tense by adding did in the beginning. For example, did you do anything special yesterday? Or what did you do last weekend? So these are all the examples of simple past tense and the regular and irregular forms for today. If you do have any questions, please write down the questions in the comment, and then I'll reply and answer your questions there. Thank you so much. Goodbye till the next video.